All right, sweet. Flatline MMA podcast episode number 68. The boys are back and we're talking some fights. UFC 259 Saturday night. Most stacked card of the year. Not one, not two, three title fights on the line. Four champions. All the stars aligned for this to be just an amazing night of fights. Overall, thought it was great. I just want to get right into it. I thought prelims were friggin' amazing. Early prelims good. We had some friggin' really good fights in there. We had the Trevin Jones, Sean Brady, Tim Elliott, all great performances. Then you get to the regular prelims, right? Kai Kara France with just a comeback for the century. Amazing KO by him. Askar Askarov dominating Joey Benavidez, right? That was tough to see. Kyla Phillips, Song Yadong battling it out. Love that fight. And then our boy Dom Cruz getting it done versus Kenney. It's crazy to me. I was super impressed with Dom Cruz's performance, right? But I hate to say that because he's a legend of the sport, right? He's been on a 2-fight skid, hasn't won in 4 years. But he went up against a guy, Kenney, who had a ton of steam behind him, a ton of hype. And I thought he put on kind of a classic Dominic Cruz performance. So I don't know, Kev, just real quick, what did you think about Cruz's performance? Obviously, his first win in a while. I guess, obviously this isn't putting him in title contention or anything like that, but definitely puts him back on the map in the bantamweight, picture here.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since he's been in a 3-round fight. I think if it went 5 rounds, he would have been able to show a little bit more. I thought the fight was pretty even. I think the big difference maker was, the amount of output that Cruz was able to, the amount of, striking and all that. But I think the difference maker for him was the takedowns. That's something that we really haven't seen a whole lot of. Usually it's, his kind of funky footwork. He's able to elude a lot of his opponent's offense and then, get into range, get a few shots off, and then get back out of range and still kind of jump around with that tricky footwork. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was a pretty close fight. Dom definitely did win. I think the takedowns put him over the edge. That helped him kind of edge it out. And I don't know if it's because I haven't seen him fight in a long time, but he looked to be in pretty good shape. Like, he looked pretty big for a 135. I mean, he is a big dude for 135, but he looked pretty muscular in there.
Yeah, I was actually that was my next point I was going to bring up. I thought his physique looked pretty good. I guess he fights not as often as I think everyone would like. His career has just been severed by a ton of injuries, unfortunately. But I thought he looked good, and I thought that we saw that old Dom Cruz footwork, and I thought it was confusing Kenney as the fight went on, right? And I agree. I thought the takedowns were kind of the biggest factor there. I thought he looked good, and it's obviously a huge win for him after being on a 2-fight skid, right? Losing his belt to Cody Garbrandt like the way he did, right? And then obviously getting knocked out by Henry Cejudo. I think not the way that he planned things out. So for me, massive win for Dom Cruz. And I think, taking a look at the rankings here, I feel like there are a lot of fun fights for him to have next. But I'm curious to see, who do you think they should match Dom Cruz up with? Is this kind of like a legend versus legend fight? Like, I'm thinking like him versus Aldo. Like, I think that's like a perfect fight. Like, those two should have fought a while ago, obviously being in 2 different weight classes. But like, now that Aldo's cemented his home in bantamweight, like, how awesome would that fight be?
Yeah, no, I do like that fight. Now that, Cruz is back and active and he's got a little bit of momentum behind him, I think that'd probably be a pretty good fight for him. But yeah, there's a ton of fights. I mean, I like even some of the guys in 10 through 15, like Chito Vera or Cody Stamen. Any one of those guys, I assume he's gonna make his way up the rankings. He's 9 right now. He's probably gonna fight someone ahead of him, being a former champ and all that. Now having having a win. So yeah, I'd say Aldo probably makes the most sense, or even Garbrandt rematch. I think that'd be pretty cool to do that as like a fight night main event or something like that.
I've seen that go around too. Potential rematch there with Cody. Yeah, I mean, there's so many options for him. Again, bantamweight's so stacked, right? And we'll talk about the bantamweight title fight in a little bit, but obviously now with kind of what happened in that fight there, I think it kind of halts the division a little bit. But we'll get into that real quick. But shout out Dom Cruz, great win, hell of a fight as well. And let's get to